Now that goes against everything that you've been taught your whole life. Everything you've been taught your whole life. You've been taught that you think with your mind. But in the Quran, it talks about what the mind does. Think about some of the things the Quran says about the mind. Jesus said, let us forget the body. He said, let us forget the flesh and go with mind. And go with mind. So therefore, he is identifying that the mind is a vehicle that we could use to transcend boundaries, that we could use to transcend time and space. So when the Prophet Muhammad, he talked about going from Mecca to Jerusalem and back to Mecca in one night, the night's journey. How did he travel? He said he traveled on an animal called Barak, and this animal in one stride, he moves as far as his eyes could see at the speed of thought. At the speed of thought, he was traveling with the mind. You understand what I'm saying? What else did he say about the mind? He said these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. So he's telling us that there is a workshop in the mind. And he's saying where we build up thought. He said where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Now he's telling us what we're supposed to be doing in the workshop, but that's not what you have to do because your mind is yours. You can change it when you want to.
Islam. See, Maurice Pennington Bay, master student. And today I got the Queen, the Grand Sheikess, Seabreazee Bay here with me. It is an honor.
With her button.
Huh?
I say, who over here fighting with her button?
Uh-oh, she over there fighting with her button. She always fighting.
Okay, I'm better.
Islam. Come on, how you doing, Sheik?
Mo, I'm doing fantastic. I can't tell people how blessed I am to be in the Moorish Science Temple, regardless of what people may say, what people may do, what the prophet brought. The truth does not change. And when you're humble enough and you're fortified enough, it's nothing anybody can really do with you. A lot of people say I fight, but I'm not really fighting. I'm trying to teach you, but people don't want, people, I'm very straightforward, so people don't like directness. But I'm just trying to get us all on one page, and that's a blessing to even be able to do that. Getting on one page, following the prophet to a destiny not uncertain, not unknown, is one word I can think of is awesome. So as some folks say, blessed and highly favored. So, and being here 50 years, I've seen some things. This is June 8th. I've been here 50 years. And June 8th, 1975. So, yes, I challenge a lot. You're going to have to come through me when it comes to the prophet. That's all I can tell you. Because my teacher was actually with the founder.
Who is your teacher, Sheik?
Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle Ill. Prophet Noble Ali III was with the founder. After the founder, he worked with the reincarnated prophet Grand Sheik John Gibbons Ill. And then he brought his brother in because most act a certain kind of way, and sometimes you gotta go get some help.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought his brother in, Grand Sheik Timothy Dingle Hill. So what people really don't understand is that you cannot grasp Moorish science outside of the Moorish Science Temple.
That's right.
There are folks who are attempting to teach Moorish science, but have no clue what they're talking about. Because first of all, they see it as a religion, and it's much more than that.
Islam.
Some
Sheik,
say,
hold on. I want to stop you right there.
Okay.
Because see, this is okay. Being a younger Moor, I've been in the temple for almost 20 years now. While at the same time, 20 years and 50 years is a bit different. I want to say this. You just said a lot, right? So for one, you said you spoke to the fact that sometimes we need help.
Mm-hmm.
And here was a grand sheik who pressed the hand of the prophet. I need help. You understand what I'm saying? So what he did was he raised up help. We see this in the scripture. Elijah was commanded by Allah to raise up help for himself. So we see that, the sheik had to raise up help, and he went home and he got his brother to raise him up to help him. Right.
Exactly.
So this is in the scripture. So it's not like, it's something it was not foreseen, something that was not to happen the way it happened, something that was not, so we could bear witness to it. Now,
Hmm.
with that also being the case, though, you said, you know, I'm going to challenge everything.
Yes.
So I want to say this because you one thing that you challenge is the fact that some of us younger Moors who come into the temple, we kind of talk too much. We kind of share things that we should be keeping to ourselves, which in turn causes individuals like you who have more to give us to just say, well, I'm not going to give you nothing else, which is that's what it is. With that being the case, I never forget when Pray the Eel said the challenge degree is in the Quran. So when you say I'm going to challenge everything, see some of us be like, what you can see Sheikess? She always going out. She always want to fight. Well, the challenge degree is in the Quran.
Yeah, it's and people. I have endurance, so that's one thing they're going to have to learn. I've done enough studying to have endurance, so I can take a conversation on for days. And when people get upset with me, they want to start calling me names and tell me how old I am, and yada da yada da. But that's not going to solve a problem.
Islam,
If you can't hang, you can't hang. I don't know what to tell you. Go
Islam,
study. That's what I'm gonna say to you. Go
Islam.
study. Had an incident the other day. Brother was talking about part and partial and part and partial. Now he looked up part and partial on on Google, and AI picked it up. AI picked it up and said it's no part and partial. It's part and parcel. And rather than define part and partial, it just took the term partial and defined it. So of course, I'm not going to let this go. I couldn't let it go. So I went back in and I had to ask this question at least 7 different ways to get the correct answer. And the answer was part and partial and part and parcel are interchangeably used. But if I didn't know that, I'm going to go with whatever AI says.
Um,
But I
well,
already
Sheikess,
studied
let
this
me
long before AI or Google or any of that.
came into existence. That's right.
So you can't take Google, Wikipedia, a lot of things, you can't take them at face value. Um, I teach a
Mm,
history and law. No, I'm sorry. I teach a divine and national instruction class. Change the name
Islam,
because I want us to walk in the footsteps of the prophet. And in teaching, my teacher gave us a plethora of books to study in order to be able to teach. So it's
Islam.
it's not like I just pulled something out of a hat or I went up on Google. I have books that I reference, such as we use the Bible. Some people think we don't use the Bible in the Moorish Science Temple.
Mhm.
The Holy Quran of Mecca, we use the Holy Quran of Mecca. I have books like The Great Conspiracy, The Negro Beast, The Tragic Era, The Critical Year, History of the United States by George Bancroft, and then there's the American Conflict by Horace Greeley, which gives a contradictory history of the history of the United States, pushing
Mm,
um, pushing the civil rights in the 13th Amendment with 2 sections. So there are things that you actually need to know before you can jump to a conclusion. So people jump to a conclusion before they get all the facts. I've been teaching history and law class for years, and I'm still studying. I've been here 50 years. I'm still studying. So I'm trying to figure out how you get here 2 or 3 years and you're a mastermind. These lessons are, I'll say, infinite because there's always something more to learn.
That's right.
And if you don't hold and think some simple things you should hold sacred, every Moorish American should be able to say and know Act 6.
Islam.
Be able to break it down historically, divinely, constitutionally, morally. Act 6 is your key to education in Moorish science.
Islam.
And a lot of people, you're so busy gathering information. You over in Spain, but our problem is not in Spain. Our problem is in these United States.
Islam.
The history, I mean, that history is good, but that's not the history that's going to solve our problem.
That's right.
You have a lot of people who want to do the Holy Quran in Mecca. Well, doing the Holy Quran in Mecca and calling yourself black is a total contradiction.
Break that
Because
down.
the Holy Quran of Mecca
Break that
says
down.
if you're black, you're in rebellion, you're full of sin, or that you accepted faith and then rejected it.
Wow.
So a lot of people come. They don't have the essence of what we need to know.
Mm.
This is not a spiritual problem. It's a problem of right against wrong. Because the spirit comes from Allah. What can we do with that except realize it and respect it? The spirit is never broken. It's just our will to want to learn and see that gets broken.
Islam.
They train us. See, we don't get educated in schools. We get trained to think a certain kind of way. And unless you break away from that training, it's hard to perceive exactly what the prophet is saying to us.
Sheikess, I'm gonna go so far as to say that even when you break away from that training, because in our Moorish literature it says something very profound, and I think that every single solitary person who inspires to become a Moorish scientist should consider this. It says that there are but few people who know what the truth is about man.
Hmm.
So you said something. You said you can't learn Moorish science outside of the Moorish Science Temple of America because there's but few people who know what the truth is about man. So even in the Moorish Science Temple of America, there's but few people who know what the truth is about man. And you would have never made me to think or believe this to be true until I actually came here, because I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America in a setting where people survive only because they study self religiously. They study self with a vigor that most people couldn't even imagine. All right, this is all we got. Like I literally like I'm about to get ready to crack up. I'm about to get ready to break, and I'm about to get ready to give up, and I'm about to get ready to go to a place that people don't come back from. And then I meet the prophet. So we don't let go. You understand what I'm saying? We throw ourselves to our studying of the self. And this is the group. This is how I came to this knowledge. This is how I came to this place. All right. So then I come home, and then you find people who come to this place because they seen a YouTube video. They
Yes.
came to this place because of something that somebody posted. And I'm here to tell y'all, as a Sheik in the Moorish Science Temple of America, a student, somebody who is here to learn, and like you said, 50 years still learning. So I got a lot to learn. I have never, not one single solitary time, and I want to say this to everybody who's watching, everybody who's going to watch this, I have never, not one single solitary time, seen an A-depth lesson on social media. So stop thinking that this is what you are receiving from these people who calling themselves master teachers. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali is our teacher. He is the professor. We are the students. You understand what I'm saying? So don't think that what these people is saying, 9 times out of 10, nine and a half times out of 10, our record says that those who represent the lower self are those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching. And most
Exactly.
of the time, these people who claim to be master teachers are regurgitating the teachings of people who was cast out of the holy city.
Exactly.
So they not represent a clean and pure nation. They represent those people who are the lower self. So that's the fact. That is what it is. I mean, you can take it how you want to. I know some of y'all gonna be like, "Oh, Pennington Bay, what you talking about? Sheik such and so be teaching hard, man. Sheik such and so just know what you want to hear."
But you know, you look at Moorish Science, the Moorish Science Temple Divine and National Movement. It doesn't need to be recreated. It doesn't need to be redesigned. It doesn't need to be rewritten. All it needs is for us to just sit and learn exactly what the prophet brought. All these people now, great authors, and you have all these books, but you had to come into the Moorish Science Temple to get that understanding, as should everyone else.
So tell me, I mean, I'm not gonna say tell me. Tell the people exactly what you mean by that, Sheikess. Like,
What I
yeah,
mean is, you go on Amazon and buy the book, but you need an instructor. You need a guide to walk through more science. More science isn't something you can sit down by yourself and figure it out. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you're in a Negro or so-called black state of mind.
mm,
Somebody has to guide you out of that state of mind.
that's right.
And you're gonna have to eat something bitter to the gall
Mm-hmm,
in order to get that out of you.
mm-hmm, that's
One of
right.
the one of the one of the books that I read from is called The Negro Beast. And in the Negro Beast, it says there's no such thing as a free Negro. You can't make him free through legislation. You can't make him free through it's legislation. The executive, the president can't make him free, and the judicial system can't make him free. Because the Negro is an invention of the European. Now, you
Mm,
might want to call it black. You can call it what you want,
mm-hmm,
but you're still functioning on that mental plantation. Because right now, who's running this system for him? Who are the judges?
mm-hmm,
Who is sitting in office? Who is teaching? And then ask yourself, what are you teaching? What law are you governing the people by? What are you doing that works for us?
Islam,
This.
Sheikess, I want to share something with you. I want you to tell me what you think about this. Um, I'm an avid reader, but after I came home, I just don't have the time to just pick up books and read them the way I used to. So
Mhm.
I go on. I got an Audible account. I listen to I listen to the books.
Mhm.
I watch a lot of YouTube. Certain people who I know can really demonstrate, because I don't have the time that I used to have to read. I was listening to a YouTube video, and the Mo said, "Listen to this." Grand Sheik of Nobody, Grand Sheik of Nowhere, says that religion is for ignorant people who don't know how to read. Listen to what I said now.
I heard you.
Grand Sheik. Now you say you Grand Sheik. Religion is for ignorant people who don't know how to read. There's a lot wrong with that.
It is.
The
How about
most basic issue, let me show you something, Sheik.
that? Go
The
ahead.
most basic issue, the most basic issue with this is that all religions got religious books. right? You got the Bible, you got the Quran, you got the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you got the Vedas, the Zen of Vest, you got all these books for these religious people, but you say that religion is for ignorant people who don't know how to read. Then the Prophet Noble Ali tells us a whole lot. For one, this is a religious corporation. The Moorish Science Temple of America is owns a religious corporation. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Our religion is Islamism, which is the practice of that which we know to be true. Islam. Okay.
So,
So
okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off.
go ahead, Sheik, is demonstrate
So
because
let's look
I
at Acts
understand.
6. It says, with us,
Islam,
all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people
their
their
divine name
nationality and
and their
their
divine
divine
creed.
creed.
That's right.
So I don't know how you got there or how he got there. But
Islam.
once again, it shows his ignorance because he isn't reading the Holy Quran, which teaches us that Islamism, we're returning the church and Christianity back to the European. It was founded by his forefathers for his earthly salvation, and we are returning to Islamism.
That's right.
So obviously, I don't even know how you got the title Grand Sheik in order to make a statement like that. Because see, people are now laying hands on themselves and giving
Hold up, Sheik.
themselves titles.
What what that mean? What does that mean?
That means I say I'm a Grand Sheik, but you
Mhm.
don't have any lineage to connect it to. And then
Right.
some in some cases people sell this stuff. You go buy a paper that say you're a Grand Sheik, and you still don't know what you got.
In case I fall
So
asleep.
who do I fault? I fault the person that sells it. I fault the
Islam.
person who sold it. Because if you're a Grand Sheik and you're doing this, aren't you betraying the cause of
Absolutely.
uplifting humanity?
Embezzle, embezzling the faith. That's right.
Yeah, that's embezzlement. So
That's embezzlement.
we don't do sovereignty. We don't do it. A lot of this stuff people are claiming that is Moorish science. We don't do ill, bay ill. We don't do day. We don't do ali, and we don't do noble. The prophet
And
gave us two titles,
that's right.
ill and bay.
And that's
You
right.
either a ill or you either a bay.
Islam.
There's no middle ground in there.
Islam.
Somebody said we don't use a hyphen. Based on what? What are you basing? I had a hyphen for 50 years. So how you going to tell me that we don't use a hyphen? And the hyphen is annexed onto your slave name so that you can let the world know I'm going home. I'm coming home on all levels. I'm coming
And,
home morally. I'm
and
coming.
see, Sheik, is what you're doing now is what you are showing is the things that individuals should have learned in Sunday school.
Yes.
You know, I say to a lot of Moors, I say like, like me coming in, I was forced, I was chased into the temple, I was forced to acknowledge how much I needed this. So with that being the case, I came like, listen, I need to learn. I'm not here to talk about what I know because what I know ain't been working. What I know is already showed me it ain't working jack. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm in Sunday school with my pen, with my paper. I didn't have Google or whatever, so I had to read all the almanacs. I had to read all of the I had to go and do the research, the hard way.
Yeah.
I praise Allah, because with the learned and ingenious, He delighteth Himself. So praise Allah for the ingenuity that created search engines that can allow for us. But you said something earlier about part and partial, and wants to demonstrate. When I got a questionnaire and I looked at it and it said that we are part and parcel, I said they don't understand the prophet at all.
Yeah, and that term does have an application, but we have to teach people from what they see on our divine constitution and bylaws. You can't come from left field and there's no reference in the lessons to help them understand what part and parcel is. It does have a place, but when you're talking to the public, stick with the divine constitution.
The
Don't take
prophet
them out
Noble
there
Drew
and never
Ali,
never land.
The Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right? There was no Moorish Americans before the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us our divine constitution and bylaws.
Mm-hmm.
In it, he uses certain terms, and they are interchangeable with terms used by other nations. He says members. Other nations says citizens. They are interchangeable, while at the same time to us they mean something very specific. We are members of a divine body. He say, ye are the children of one Father, provided for by his care. He tells us that the universal Allah is one, that he is more than one. All things are one, we are one body. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. So when the prophet says that we are part and partial, we are part and partial of one divine body. So the words are interchangeable with each other, but to us, as members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it's very important that we keep to the spirit of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because that's what makes me know that Sheikess Seabreazee is my sister. That's what makes me know that any Moorish American who comes into the Moorish Science Temple of America by whatever gate they enter into this movement, I don't give a freak. I don't care, Sheikess. Like, I will never be the more to be like, well, who was your grand sheik? Where did you come from, or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't care about none of that. Because I used to gang bang. I was a member of the Mickey's Cobras. All right. Cobras is an acronym. It stands for Chicago Organized Black Revolutionary Army Soldiers. I did time in federal prison. I'm in federal prison, and guys is from Mississippi, they from Arkansas, they from Minnesota, and guess what they say? They say they are Mickey's Cobras. Now, my mind say, well, how are you a Chicago Organized Black Revolutionary Army soldier? You're not from Chicago. But guess what? Sheikess, they in prison because of things that they did for that.
Mm-hmm.
They in prison because of their commitment to that. So who am I to take that away from them? And that's how I feel about every single solitary Moorish American who came into the temple. Like you said, I do not ever fault the victim, but I will fault their leader.
Exactly.
I will fault their fake teacher. Because 9.5 times out of 10, their teacher came from under somebody who pressed the hand of our prophet.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided that they could do better than our prophet.
Yes, and but what's funny though? But you take the prophet's literature and everything he brought, and you just regurgitate it and put your little symbols and all. So you're not doing anything original. Because if you had the solution, if you had something better, you would not be using what the prophet brought.
Islam.
And this is what people don't get. It's a story about truth and falsehood, and it said truth and falsehood went swimming. Now I told this parable in reference to a flag that I saw LT Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice on, and I said the truth and the lie went swimming,
Okay.
and while the truth was in the water, the lie jumped up and put on truth's clothes and ran through the town pretending to be truth. And there are a lot of folks out here pretending to know more science, and
Islam.
they don't.
Islam.
Because Acts 6 and 7 are your two guides. Acts 6 teaches you education. Acts 7 tells you proper conduct. Now, if you're not living by Acts 7, you're not in the Moorish Science Temple.
Say that again.
If you're not living by Acts 7, you're not in the Moorish Science Temple, because it says you must be entitled to the name of faithful.
Faithful. That's right. That's right.
Not what faithful to what? It says you must become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple and keep up with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. So if you're not doing those things, you're not in the Moorish Science Temple. Just like this sad situation with sisters putting on fezzes. You don't need a fez on. You got a crown.
Islam, Sheikh. Oh, while you here, So I'm glad you're here. So I had the video of I think it was last year's convention, and you did a presentation on the turban, and I clipped it and I gave it to all the sisters in my temple, and I told them, I said, listen to, I said, study this. I said, study this, and I've been wanting to put that clip on my YouTube channel, and I've been wanting to put it. I've been wanting to put it out there because the teaching about the importance of the turban, not only just what it you made it a special to the Mobites, all right. And I'm not gonna say you made it, but you communicated that it was a special to the Mobites because
Exactly.
a lot Islam.
It's,
Um, so I think that the issue is I think that the issue is, so many of our people, they want the truth. Everybody wants the truth. Everybody wants the truth. A lot of people are not willing to do the work. The prophet said we could receive this pamphlet at an expense, and a lot of us are not willing to pay that expense. A lot of us don't know what it is. You know, I want. How do we keep what is sacred sacred while at the same time, see, we don't live in a time where we are just in the temple, and some our people are so afraid. I talked about this in Sunday school today. When they hear religion is frightening. It is frightening to a lot of Asiatic people. They'll say religion is only something that's meant to enslave me. It's only meant to, do all these things because they're not reading the chapter of religion where I said this. God instituted government. Allah did. Not man, but Allah did. Allah, it was the one who said that this is necessary. All right.
yes.
But with that being the case, when our people hear religion or think religion, they think about cologne. They think that they're being colonized. So there's a thin line. Like, how do we toe that line?
Well, first of all, our religion is a birthright handed
Mm,
to us through our forefathers. It's not a belief. It's not something you pick up out of the hat. It's not an alternative to Christianity. That's not what our religion is our birthright. That means a code of conduct to teach us how to live. Because you need some moral foundation to live right. Because if you don't, you're going to make up your own, which is why you see our people living under hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms.
Islam.
And I want to just read this little surah to you. And this is Surah 32, Ayat 7. And it says, He who has made everything which he has created most good, he began the creation of man with nothing more than clay. Allah's creation in itself is good. It is beautiful in proper proportion, adapted for the functions it has to perform. There is no evil or disorder in it. Such evil or disorder as creeps in is due to man's will. And as far as the world of man is concerned, and spiritual understanding is directed to train and cure that will, bringing it into conformity with the universal order and plan. So that's the purpose of religion, to bring us back in tune with the great God Allah, to bring us back in tune with ourselves. So if people who don't want religion, is because they don't understand what it actually is.
Islam. That's right. Yep. Yep.
And they want to do usually they want to do some dirty stuff, but that's a story in itself. Because
Well,
if I'm a lie to you, I
mhm.
can't teach you truth too.
Islam. Some Sheik is it's really it is what it is, Sheik. We all have a lower self. And
Mhm,
the Prophet Noble Ali, he came and he made that known to us. And
mhm.
that's something else that we talked about in Sunday school today. there was a time where I didn't know I had a lower self. Being made aware that I have a lower self and understood what my lower self intends for me. So now when I'm urged, when I'm tempted to respond to life in a way that's not becoming of a Muslim, then I know that's my lower self not trying to hurt something outside of me. It's trying to hurt me. And
Right.
what it would do is it would take, situations that we should have, that we should want changed. Like Asiatics in America should want their conditions to be better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, in our wanting our conditions to be better, the lower self would have us to believe that we have an enemy outside of self that needs to be destroyed. So now we start to demonstrate all types of hatred toward this perceived enemy, not knowing that the man in the mirror is the one who does the most harm to us. You know? And that's the thing about the lower self. But when the Prophet Noble Jew Ali made us to know this, then I know this. My ears ain't hearing somebody telling me to respond a certain way. This is coming from inside of me. And I know that there's two things inside of me. Allah who lives in the heart, Allah of the still small voice, and a lower self that's rich in promises but poor in blessings and peace. All right. And when I hear that, then that's what makes me be still. This is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us in that one knowledge of the self. You have a lower self and you have a higher self, and your lower self is here as a foe that you must fight.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of our people don't know that, Sheikess. A lot of these individuals whose job it is to instruct our people about this, they trying to make themselves out to be something. The insufficiency of knowledge. The ruler of the people proclaimeth the praise of it.
Well, it's the lesson says, if you ask me what to study, I would say yourselves. And when you well have studied them and ask me again what to study, my response would be
Yes.
yourselves. So if you come into the Moorish Science Temple and you study man, you won't go off track. If you
Mm.
come into the Moorish Science Temple and you study woman, you're going to go off track because you're not minding your own business.
Ooh.
Because people will fail. People. I mean, everybody. Nobody's perfect. So don't look to man to solve a problem that you can solve for yourself
Islam.
just by application. You know, that the lower self exists on many different levels. There's a historical lower self. There's a constitutional lower self. Of course, we know there's a moral lower self. We also have a historical lower self. So when you talk about the lower self, it has followed us through history, and usually it's the cause of our downfall. Goes all the
Mm.
way back to Jesus and forward. Look at Moses. Moses spent 40 years before he could take the Israelites into the promised land, all because they were hard headed and stiff necked.
Islam.
He had to let a generation pass off the scene. President Abraham Lincoln gave 37 years for the emancipation process to happen. Is Noble
Islam.
Drew Ali a man? Of course he's a man. Would you
Absolutely.
talk to a ghost?
Islam. This my brother. So I wanna ask him a question. I want
Mhm.
not a question, but I want to give him an opportunity to to make us understand what he intends.
Okay.
Break it down for me, Moab. Like of course the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a man. He's also to us an angel of Allah sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah, which is still a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. So when you say it's not Noble Drew Ali, a man, um,
It's not.
what you trying to point? What you trying? Where you trying to direct us with this? And I go so far as if you go to the YouTube channel, if you go to the YouTube channel, beloved, the StreamYard link is actually in the YouTube channel. So if you wanted to come up here and ask us, so you don't got to be trying to type out what you mean. That's well too. We'll wait for you whenever you demonstrate your thought on that. We'll come back and respond to it. Islam Sheik. Um, you said something. You just said something. You said something about if we study man, then we'll be going in the wrong direction. If we
Mhm.
study woman, then we'll be going in the wrong direction. So
Exactly.
for me, I know it say, hold up, what do you say? Oh, okay. I think you drawing in front of the wrong context. Okay, so the master teacher in our Quran, Elihu, Elihu, Elihu is the teacher. And Elihu said, if you would ask me what to study, I would say yourself. And you will have studied it and would ask me what to study next. And I would reply, yourself. All right.
Self.
So
Self.
the
Self.
prophet Noble Drew Ali, he never he never asked us to study him. As a matter of fact, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali went so far as to say, it was recorded that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that there was things about himself that he just didn't tell us because he wanted us to focus on ourselves. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we are directed to study ourselves. We are directed to, as the Sheikess said, mind our business. All right. And so I understand what you're saying, like, well, we study the prophet, but in reality, we study the prophet's teachings. And the
Right.
prophet's teachings is about the self. So that's why I asked you. I say let me ask him what he really mean. So I'm gonna say, and the Sheikess could tell you, she could speak for herself. She's been doing this a lot longer than I have. But so the prophet, we don't study the prophet Noble Drew Ali. We study the prophet's teachings, and that's important. Islam.
It's
Uh,
and one of the things I can take you to is the Holy Bible, Deuteronomy 18:18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren,
mm,
like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Islam.
If you go into the Holy Quran of Mecca, it says, I will raise up a prophet. I will raise up someone among you who speaks a language that you understand.
That's right.
So if we look at just look at our prayer. It says Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation. What's that next line?
By night and by day.
Nope. By night
I
and by day. You're right. And what's the
will
next one? I'm gonna skip the line myself.
through his holy prophet,
What is it?
through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet. So if
Jesus,
you're trying to get to a law and skip over the prophet, you're gonna miss your point.
Islam,
You're
and
not gonna land where you think you're supposed to land.
Islam, and I'm gonna show you how to. I'm gonna qualify exactly what you said in the Holy Quran,
Yeah.
because
So
the Holy Quran teaches us that His cares continue to us all in our love to each other, and
mhm.
that's what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the ultimate sacrifice, His love to us, and His love to us, and our love to each other. Islam.
And you go into the Circle 7 chapter 2, and it says, and when the world is ready, to receive, lo, Allah will send a messenger to open the book and listen to this word, copy from its sacred pages all the messages of purity and love. Then every man on earth will read the words of life in language of his native land, and men will see the light and walk in the light and be the light. And man again will be at one with Allah. So when you talk about when people talk about of course the prophet's going to be a man. History tells us that already. All the prophets were men or women. And
Islam.
so, that's how we communicate.
Islam.
Because if some voice came to me and ain't nothing there for that voice to come from, I'm gonna have a problem. I don't know if I'm gonna stay around anyway. I'm just saying, I might be running, because I don't understand.
Islam. Islam. Ain't no question. Hey, and hey, I always, I love when I was young, and my mom would tell you, when I was a young person, I started to read the Bible, right? Because my mom used to have one of those children Bibles sitting on the coffee table, and it looked at like more like a comic book because it had like
Hmm.
the images on the cover. And I wanted to read that book so bad, but I didn't know how to read. Like I was still so little, I didn't know how to read, but I wanted to read it so bad. So when I did learn how to read, I opened up the Quran and I started reading. I mean, I opened up the Bible and I started reading it. But it scared the crap out of me. It scared me so bad, right? Because I I went into my study of the Bible
Hmm.
taking what I had learned from the world. They said that, the Bible is the truth. This is the word of God. Now, I had not yet been a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, so I didn't know how to define truth. I had not yet been a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, so I didn't know what form the words of God took. I didn't know. So when I read the Bible, I took it absolutely literally. I thought I was reading a history book. And when
Hmm.
I read the book of Revelations, I thought I was reading the future. And I thought that I was reading the future that my physical body would have to go through. I didn't understand that John, the son of Zebedee, he said in the beginning, he was on the island of Patmos and
Hmm.
that he was in spirit. You see, so he wasn't experiencing this physically. It was happening on the inside. I didn't know, so I was scared to death. My mama told him in Sunday school when I started talking about it. She said, I came there. I said, Mama, I feel sorry for us.
But don't,
We
don't
in
don't
trouble.
they also describe how Jesus looks in Revelation?
Absolutely, Sheikess.
So we they keep us in such a spooky state until things that are really simple and truthful, we take it the wrong way. And and I can give you a prime example. They taught us to hate Lincoln. They taught us that. We didn't come to that conclusion. They taught us that, and they used this line, all he wanted to do was save the Union. Did anybody ask what was the Union? We were
Mm,
clueless. So the Union is actually 35 Moors and 20 Anglo Saxons, because what we don't understand is that we set the European free from King George. We
mm.
don't understand our place in history.
No, not at all.
And because we don't understand that, well, lo and behold, Lincoln understood who we were. And so he fought slavery, period. He fought slavery. He eliminated slavery. But conspiracy, radical Republicans, redefine things. They put slavery on the back burner. Just put it on the back burner. But we still live under envy, hate, and fear. That's why the prophet says we have to stop clinging to the names and
And the
principles
principles. That's right.
that delude to slavery.
That's
Because some
right.
of us don't look at the things, the principles of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because too many moles jump into the Negro arena For example, reparations. Reparations is not for us. We need restoration of our birthrights. Isn't that what your nationality card says? This is your nationality identification card and birthrights for the Moorish Americans. Chapter 1, doesn't it talk about regaining your lost estate, your birthrights? Chapter 11, on the soul plane, returning to your native plane. We don't know what our people in their current state don't have no clue what their native plane is. So
Islam.
they don't went from being to Native Americans, as they call them. They're a little bit. They trying to be a little bit everything. They like that chameleon. Whatever you put him on, that's what he turned to.
I want to say this though, right? Not say this though. I said that wrong. I want to say this. I want to show you something. I was having a conversation with the Sheik at Brazil. This was a couple of years ago. We was talking, right? And and the Sheik at Brazil said something. If anybody ever spoke to the Sheik, you know how he get, when he started talking about more science, and demonstrating his portion. And he said this. He said that after the prophet left us, the prophet left, and there was so many Moors who just didn't know what it was that the prophet had left us with, that they started to see everything around him and say, "Oh, there we go." Oh, there we go. And everything became more science.
And,
Everything except for what we learned in Sunday school. So you just said something like the Prophet Noble Ali tells us that he came to redeem us from our sinful ways. He
mhm,
didn't come, he didn't say, like we hear, other schools of thought, other orders, like the Nation of Islam and other orders, they say, that Allah gonna come and he gonna destroy this devil. Where the Prophet Noble Ali said that he came to redeem us from our sinful ways. Because every nation suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. The Prophet Noble Ali said that he come to stop us from doing what? Clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. He didn't come pointing the finger at other people.
no.
He came and told us, say, man, y'all not being y'allself. And since you're not being yourself, you are finding that you are a slave.
Yeah, and here,
Even here it is, when physical slavery don't even exist no more. You still a mental slave because you are clinging to the names that was given to you by slave masters in 1779 under ordination that ended in 1865. But
mhm.
here it is, 2025, and we still clinging to these designations. We clinging to an identity that was given to us, a circumstance that was laid on us.
And it is a sin. That is
It's a,
the sin. It
it's a
says it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Sheikess. Do you remember? Do you remember when I misquoted the prophet? This was about it was about 7 years ago, and I was just posting, and I said, no matter of fact, I think I was responding to a post. It was in the comment, and I said that the Prophet Noble Ali said that money does not make the man, but international standards and power make the man in the nation. And you said, where you get international standards from? And I thought about it. But you know what else I thought about? It was more than the correction. Because what allows for us to misquote things that we study so much is when we don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me go back and try to discover the difference between a free national standard and what I thought was an international standard.
Mm-hmm.
Because International standards are established by whoever has the greatest military might, where free national standards are established by people who refuse to be influenced by anything other than their own traditions, customs, nationality, and creed. It's a big difference. Because
Yeah,
if I can beat you up, I can make you call yourself whatever. That's the international standard.
but we get beat up in such a new way. We don't get beat up because it's not a shackle thing, but you go through a school system that tells you what you're black.
Yeah.
You go through a school system that tells you all you need to do is vote. You go to a college,
Learn
and
what's
you
important.
learn in this college. All you need to do is vote, get a degree, make some money, because the new god of the hour is the dollar. The dollar, you can't buy your way into anywhere.
Oh,
And if you have money and they're using you, you just a big paid tool. Whether you
true.
like it or not, you are a tool. You sit on that bench and you interpret the law. You interpret the law as a tool.
Mm,
No matter what and the biggest tools of all are our actors, our athletes,
mm,
entertainers. Those are our biggest tools because they are the ones look at this record. They ain't like us. Who ain't like us? What you talking about? In
mm,
my day, it was say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
mm.
The influence of media on our people because they have nothing to counteract it with.
Mhm.
It's stupendous. It's the magnitude of it all. We sitting here and we quietly saying we are Moorish Americans by nationality. Our race is Asiatic. The shade of our skin is olive. We are the oldest. We are the oldest of the human family.
That's right.
So if the older brother out of order, what's the younger brother's going to be?
Lost. Yeah.
You think about when you were talking about chapter 47. Yes, every nation has suffered slavery, but guess who they suffered slavery under? Themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't lose their nationality. They didn't lose their religion. They didn't lose their language. They still, you can still find Irish. You can still find uh, Egyptians. You can still find these people on the map.
Islam, Sheik, I got a question.
Mhm.
Because in hearing you, and you the scope of knowledge pertaining to the Asiatic people is different than what we get now from the so-called content creators and influencers, whom people call Moorish scholars.
Oh, mm,
hey, hey, wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. So a brother posted a post, and he said, he put some names, and he said these are the best Moorish scholars. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow, there was not a single Grand Sheik on the list.
that's how they do.
I mean, and not one. So and then so my thing is, when we talk about Moorish science, tell me how Sunday school was. All right, like when you came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, and
Hmm.
you had these people because Sunday school was something that was uniform. Tell me how was Sunday school when Sheik and Seabreazee was Sister Seabreazee, just learned how to tie a turban on her head, just found out that she was a Moabitess, just found tell me about that.
Okay, you're gonna laugh at this too. When I came into the Moorish Science Temple, I was 21. I had to come. Our temple was on the second floor, so you had to come up some steps. It was at 3236 Frederick Avenue, and I came up the steps, And sisters wore their skirts, I think, mid calf.
Okay.
And so when I looked at I was a little tiny thing, I'm a little tiny thing. And so when I looked at all the sisters, I said, "Oh, them got big legs. I'm gonna get big legs now that I'm in the temple." That's what I actually thought when I first came in the temple. But then when I sat down and listened, I said, "Oh, this is what I want to teach my children."
Islam.
And I tell you, I got so embarrassed because when I came into the temple, we had to get a certificate of registration and we had to take an oath to support the policies of President Lincoln. We actually had to take the oath of amnesty and reconstruction
Mm.
to support the policies of Lincoln and to acknowledge who we were. And lo and behold, I signed the original document instead of the other document for myself. And this brother stood up in this public meeting and berated me so bad. And I just stood there and I took it. I'm like, I ain't going away. You're just going to have to beat me up. I don't care. That's nature. And, and I think about that. And I think about a lot of people wouldn't have been able to take that beating. And, so I, I'm not going to, you ain't chasing me out the temple is my mindset. And all I did was study. I mean, we used to study to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We would go to the temple, have a meeting, then we would come together after the temple, get food, cook food, and study to 4 o'clock in the morning. We studied all the time. Whenever we got together, we were studying. If we weren't studying, if I was with sisters, we were cooking. We were learning different recipes. Um, Matter of fact, I used to deal with herbs back in the day. Um, so we had the health, we had the diet, we had dinners, we did the whole gamut. So in the beginning, all I did was learn. Matter of fact, my teacher, when we sat in public meetings, he got to the point he would say something, daughter, right, where's that? And I would have to pull it up. Whatever he was talking about, he wouldn't even give me a scripture or nothing. I just had to pull it up because I'm supposed to know what he's talking about. And I got very good at that, which is probably why I'm like I am today. And it didn't matter. He would start talking. I start listening. And he would say, where can we find that at, daughter? Not that he didn't know, but he
Mm-hmm.
was teaching me how to find the things necessary to teach.
Islam.
So, that was one of my greatest blessings was being able to sit with my teacher because one of the things we know them as is Moses and Aaron. That's Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle-Eel and Grand Sheik Timothy Dingle-Eel, the God man and the prophet. And we say that because they are the ones that went to the government. Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle-Eel set up the Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics, which all Moors are supposed to register under. We should have one big bureau where, or at least a bureau in each state where all the Moors are registering and we're getting one uniform documentation. So, growing up in the temple, I've seen people mess with this policy and lose their minds.
Mm.
Um, I've, I seen where the brothers talked to back in the day, Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. They got nationality cards. They were
Mm.
nationality cards. So a lot of sisters wearing turbans. Sisters got fired for wearing turbans back in the day.
Mm.
Sisters lost their job. Brothers lost their job fighting for holy day. See,
Mm.
none of you young mo's get to see none of that now. But there
Islam.
was a fight that had to go on to be able to get what we have today, to be able to wear a turban, to be able to wear your fez. All these things were back in the day were not allowable. We had to make a stand and had to fight in order for you to wear turbans, be able to wear your turbans to the job. And now they're coming in here with Habibs on and oh, it's so acceptable. Really? I know sisters who made a stand, who lost their jobs because they said they wanted to wear their turban. I know brothers who lost their job because they wanted their holy day off. So when you talk about struggle, these young moles ain't going through no struggle now because the struggle has been gone through. Our next struggle is not wearing our turbans or our holy day. Our next struggle is gaining our actual freedom. That's our struggle. And actual freedom is the legal process by which we are to be freed as a nation of people. We should be part and parcel of this government, but we so busy bickering, and we some of us are so holy we floating on air.
You know something, Sheik, is you just said a lot. You just said a lot. And when you first started, like when you first started and talking about, like what the whole process was like going through Sunday school, I was saying to myself, like that's what it was like when I came into the temple. But then you said something more. You started talking about the fight that the Moors had to go through to get Friday Holy Day off, the fight that the sisters had to go through to wear their turbans to work. Like, that was not an experience that I had, it wasn't. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, how the Sunday school was, the studying sun up to sundown, that's what I went through. In prison we had what we call, and I know you know the term, IP, in preparation. So there was, we was required to learn more science. We was required to be able to understand certain things as new Moorish Americans, young Moors coming into the temple. But when you talk about this fight, Sheikess, and the Prophet Noble Ali in the Holy Quran tells us to give gratitude to heaven.
Mhm.
You understand what I mean? And that's where when I came down to Baltimore, you see all of the pictures. Those pictures remind y'all of the fight. But then when you go to other temples, you don't see the pictures. You don't see the reminder. The reminder is not there. You understand what I'm saying? And when you tell Moors and you be on social media and you be telling Moors, this is sacred. See, now they can understand why.
Yeah. I mean,
You understand?
if we don't put value on what we have, who else will?
Who else will?
And that's the whole thing. Cause see, we're people who like to ape and imitate. We don't have to have the essence of it, but if we can front with it, that's what we'll do. We good for fronting. And then when you ask the question, they don't know what you're talking about. They don't know nothing. But yeah, we love the front. We love to ape and imitate and act like we know, and you don't. Stop with the not. Stop pretending that you know. Moles irritate me so bad. I remember one time we were tax exempt as Moorish Americans,
Mm.
and accountability came in. Guess who wasn't getting the money? The Moorish Science Temple of America.
Mm. They
So
were
what happened?
contributing.
What happened? Shut it down. So we've been our own worst enemy. We might want to blame the European, but it's our own fault.
Islam.
We sitting here with the solution for the cares of the world, and we
Mm.
sitting on it like a chicken with trying to hatch an egg. We need to blast this stuff from the rooftops. We need to be in Washington D.C. blasting these lessons to anyone who has an ear to hear. The prophet talked to foreign sympathizers, um, citizens, members, loyal and faithful Moors, members, citizens, and foreign sympathizers. The prophet wasn't just talking to us, but
That's right.
in our minds, we think he only talking to us.
What Islam? Hold up, hold up, hold up. What does that mean? What does that mean? When you just said that, tell us what that means.
What that means is that the prophet was talking to the nations. The nations. If you look at Acts 6, it doesn't say, it says, all men now must proclaim
Proclaim
their free national name
national name.
to be recognized by the government in which they live and the
And the nations
nations
in
of
the
the earth.
earth. You see that? See, those was the questions. I remember when I was down there in Baltimore. Sheikess, you be asking some questions. Hey, every time, hey, I came down there to my family. I'm a master student. The Sheik say, "Well, what is such and so and so? Where did it say that at?" Islam, you know,
No, I learned how to teach in
Islam.
Moorish Science. I learned how to teach in Moorish Science before I went to college. I
Mm.
sat down and studied how to make a lesson plan and how, all the things I needed to do. Because at one point in time, I was teaching Holy Night, non-history class, and Sunday school.
Islam.
Because the Moors have a tendency to run. And they just left, they just deserted the temple.
Ooh.
And I moved the temple from 2,500 Utah place to my
This your
house.
your old
My
bed
little,
that was
my
in
little,
my
my little
house.
shack on my little shack on 33rd Street.
Um,
And I taught class from my living room.
yeah. Islam. Y'all know how to summer school. Why? Why
So
did you do? Why? Why did you do that?
because I didn't want to see the temple
I don't
closed
know.
down.
Why? Okay.
Because if
You already had it, Sheikess. Why you didn't want to see it closed down?
because we had to leave the building because the Mose wasn't paying it. Once my teacher stopped coming to the
No, no,
building,
no, 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 no.
I
You
said to him,
you already had the teaching. So why what was so important to keep why did you do that?
because people needed to learn. People
Yes,
needed to know.
Islam.
It's about the people. It ain't about me. I don't do what I do because I want you to look up at me. I want you to look up at the prophet. My mission is to get us to see the prophet and what it is that he wants us to do and where he wants us to go.
So
To
to you, what is the prophet?
what is the prophet? A guide, a teacher, a role model, um, a man.
Islam.
Because I don't want to put him up at so far up there that I don't understand. But what he's done for me is no more than a miracle. I'm a
Mm.
miracle. I don't know about nobody else. But I'm a miracle of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I've been through some things in life. And I've been rejected, kicked out, all kinds of stuff. I've been punished, I done ran the whole gamut of what can happen to you being in the Moorish Science Temple. But what I did not ever lose was my faith.
You can't. Faith is
I
only one
lost
thing
my might have
rescue.
lost my way, but I never lost. No
Islam.
matter where I went at, I have friends that tell you she gonna talk more science anywhere she goes. She don't know no better. But
Islam.
I just can't express the gratitude uh, of of what I feel, the gratitude to have this state of mind. I'm able to move the ethers, Mo. I'm able to raise spirits up. I'm able to help people turn their light on,
Mm.
but they have to be willing. I can't force it on you. I can tell you,
Islam.
and you can fight with me, and I will fight with you. I'll fight with you like who was that? Israel fought with the angel, or somebody fought with the angel. I don't know who it was. Somebody I can't think of it on the top.
You
But
said
somebody
it was
fight with the
Jacob.
angel. Well,
Jacob.
I'm that angel that you gonna fight with
Islam.
to get you where you need to be to get the
Islam.
job done.
And you know what the fight was about. Let's remind the Moors that Jacob fought with the angel for a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember he said the angel say, "Man, the sun about to come up. You know, let me go." He said, "I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me." You know,
Yes.
so this whole thing, Sheik, is like I tell people this, right? Um, I'm like you, like most of us. You know, like one thing about it, we're not called to do something. We're not called to save a people who will have issues and problems that we can't understand. All right. So I've been through some stuff too. And and my mom and the people who know me, like my loved ones, my family, at first when they first heard me say this, it disturbed them. But
Yeah.
then as they got to know me, they began to understand. And this is something that I mean from the bottom of my soul. There is nothing or no one in existence that means more to me than the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Mhm.
And that is because if we are not successful, then my loved ones don't stand a chance no way.
No,
You understand
nobody
me?
does. You're absolutely correct. Nobody
So
stands a chance.
for me, it's all about to the best of my ability remaining a student, remaining bowed down at her footstool, remaining attentive and faithful.
And
These is important things to elements to me.
mhm.
Okay,
And staying humble.
humble, yes.
A lot of most see I had to fight with my armor on because people come at me all kinds of ways. So I have to put my armor on. So so Mo's be like, I be like, but I'm really not like that. That's how I have to deal with you because I'm dealing with you for a few seconds or a few minutes or however long that might be. And you trying to and you instead of you listening to or understanding what I'm saying or even trying to understand, we going through I grew up playing dirty dozens. Let me say I grew up playing Dirty Dozen. So, I can go at it. That's what I can
Yeah.
do. So people be like, you still talking about that? I ain't finished yet. I gotta keep going. You know, some of them most say, oh, you just want to win. No, it's not that I want to win. I want you to understand that the prophet has already won. And
It's
you need to get in line with him. Not me, but with him and what he's brought to us. And then we can win this fight. I mean, come on, 96 years and you ain't got it right yet?
I seen the post today, Sheikess, and I be trying not to pay this stuff no attention. Like I really do, but I seen the post and the brother was on there and he was like, if you're not a part of this particular corporation and this, that, and the third. And I was saying to myself, it is amazing to me that the Holy Quran, which we have as the revealed word of Allah, could be set aside. It could be set to the side for what some joker wearing a black robe in a Roman court has said out his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If the prophet Noble Drew Ali, listen to what the prophet's affidavit of our religious corporation says. It says that the Moorish Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name the Moorish Science Temple of America. Not the other way around. The corporation Moorish Science Temple of America didn't adopt real people and members who said that we are the clean and pure temple.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen that way.
Yeah. It's
So
so
my,
simple.
my thing is this though, Sheikers. If the prophet would tell us in his Quran that they who does our cleanse comprise the temple of purity, then how did the temple become paper?
Mo, when you remember that story I read about the willing man,
Yeah. I
it's
hear
that
you.
will. The will to choose the prophet over everything else. And when I
Islam.
mean that, I don't mean you have to eliminate your family. I'm just saying you have to adopt the truth and make it a part of every part. None of us are perfect. We all got some struggles. And that's between you and the law. Not my
Islam.
job to judge you. I had somebody write me and say, well, we need to talk about a brother so and so. No, we don't. No, we don't.
Mhm.
Well, he out of order. Well, right now, so are you.
Islam. The faulty
So
days
I'm
with
not
you.
in here to hate and we're not here to hate and to do that little divide and conquer thing because we've done enough of that already. It's time we all came and created and restored the Moorish Science Temple Divine and National Movement.
Islam.
Because the prophet is shrewd. He give you a piece here, he give you a piece here, And then he'll go into the Moorish literature and give you the rest of it.
Hmm.
Or he'll go in the Holy Quran and give you the rest of it. But
That's
all
right.
of it is cohesive. All of it connects. But we keep trying to separate it. We have, I don't, I don't even know how to, I don't know how to um, help people to just see the light. I mean, I do know, and then again, I don't know. But Islam, sister, you're absolutely. You said many may disagree, but Noble Drew Ali lets us know.
That's
Yes, he has it written. It's not something you have to go and guess and research to find. He's written out everything. He tells you if he's talking to the Grand Sheik. He tells you if he's talking to the Sheiks. He tells you if he's talking to the members. He tells you if he's talking to all Muslims because all members are not Moorish Americans. That's another thing
Ooh.
we have to face. Because it says, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people
Yeah.
their nationality and divine creed. So we're in learning, but some people may come in with a nationality. Are we prepared? It's
Mm.
the question of the hour. Are we prepared? If the doors were full of people ready to come into the Moorish Science Temple, are we prepared?
Do we have enough secretaries?
So we still got to get people under their own vine and fig tree. We're not trying to put them under ours.
You know
Everybody,
some hey Sheikess, you said that. You said and I said this needs to be put in stone and delivered to every Sheik and adept in this movement. You said that for I'm gonna paraphrase it, all right? But
mhm,
you said that for us to say that the only way to salvation is the Moorish Science Temple of America violates what the prophet said when he said that all people must worship under their own vine and fig tree. And
exactly.
when we talk about the grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, this is the grand ideal
Hmm.
freedom,
Yeah,
allowing for people to be free enough to be who they are, you know, and that's something that we don't go that deep into the prophet's instruction. So therefore, we are not when it says that the teacher leaves his footprints clearly cut, but then it goes on and it says something else, which all could see and be assured that he their master went that way. A
hmm,
lot of these teachers are leaving footprints, but they are not masters.
they not walking in. They need to be walking in the footprint, and not leaving them. They need to be walking in the footprint, and
The
that's
footprints of the prophet. That's
like
right.
I do. I like I do with my. Sometimes I'm in class and I might tell everybody, stand up. Come on, let's walk in them footsteps. Divine and national. Divine and national. Divine.
Islam Sheikess. So I told you, I say the queen is in the hospital, but I'm finna get ready. She finna get out the hospital in 20
All right,
minutes.
well,
I gotta get there to go get her. But I am not done with this conversation. I'm
no
not done. So what I'm gonna do is, the paradigm shifting the podcast. I usually do it every Sunday, but one of these days this week coming up, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, maybe even Friday after Holy Day, I'm gonna be like, hey, she can see Reese, you ready to continue this conversation? Like,
okay.
because I'm not done, because I'm not done. I really want a shift in the paradigm. I want people to really come in line with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's divine plan.
Yes,
That's important. Even myself, I need to know. Like I'm a student. You understand me? Like I've had the Prophet's literature, Quran questionnaire. I studied. I paid attention to everybody who walked and lived the life accordingly. But at the same time, some things have to be passed down a certain way. So I'm eyes wide open, ears wide open, heart wide open. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to be calling the Sheikess and I'm going to be like, hey, Sheikess, come on. We got to do this again. We got to finish this conversation.
no, it all takes is a phone call.
Absolutely, Sheikess. So be prepared to receive that phone call. And
Yes.
I can't. I don't want to say when, but I'm gonna say soon. I'm gonna be back down to Baltimore to visit
And
y'all.
I'm gonna learn how to work
You gonna learn how to do what?
how to work the
The
audience.
stream yard.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
it's
know, I have but I already told you that. I forgot. Oh, what's it?
Rivers
Yeah,
Riverside. Yeah,
Riverside.
I'm gonna tell
And
you. I think this is the best one.
yeah, well, you know, I was in class and they did say that, and I was like, I don't want to pay that. I just didn't want. I was being cheap. I'm gonna be honest.
No, you could listen. It does all the same stuff for free. It does.
Well, and I. But anyway, you know what? That's my test, I guess. I got to get more technologically astute.
Nigga, I just did 20 years in prison. You talk about you gotta get technologically astute. You watch this stuff come into formation. Look, you know what? We're gonna talk about that. But
Okay.
I gotta go pick
Alrighty,
the queen
Mo.
up.
You
She
know,
gotta come
we'll
home.
have a chat. You can help me out because I need some help. I ain't gonna say I don't.
Islam,
I'm a
Sheikess.
student all the time.
Islam.
So
Islam, Sheikess.
let's say a prayer. Close out. Always good to
Islam.
say a prayer.
It's
Islam.
good. You the senior Sheikess. I'm listening.
Sure. Islam.
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 Allah, the
Allah,
Father of the universe.
the Father of the universe.
You want to say it together? The
I'm
Father.
I'm I'm reciting after you.
Okay. The Father of love,
The Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my guide,
and my salvation
and my salvation.
by night
By night
and by day
and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
Juali.
Amen. Have a prosperous
Islam,
week, Mo. Have a prosperous week.
Sheiks, thank you for coming. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
All right? Now that goes against everything that you've been taught your whole life. Everything you've been taught your whole life. You've been taught that you think with your mind. But in the Quran, it talks about what the mind does. Think about some of the things the Quran says about the mind. Jesus said, let us forget the body. He said, let us forget the flesh and go with mind. And go with mind. So therefore, he is identifying that the mind is a vehicle that we could use to transcend boundaries, that we could use to transcend time and space. So when the Prophet Muhammad, he talked about going from Mecca to Jerusalem and back to Mecca in one night, the night's journey. How did he travel? He said he traveled on an animal called Barak, and this animal in one stride, he moves as far as his eyes could see at the speed of thought. At the speed of thought, he was traveling with the mind. You understand what I'm saying? What else did he say about the mind? He said these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. So he's telling us that there is a workshop in the mind. And he's saying where we build up thought. He said where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Now he's telling us what we're supposed to be doing in the workshop, but that's not what you have to do because your mind is yours. You can change it when you want to.